It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. I can't do this anymore. I stayed silent for 20 years. For nearly 2 decades, I woke up, went to work, and followed the same routine every day. I followed the rules, did everything right. And for what? To feel trapped, stripped of freedom, independent thoughts, and real choices. Stop. Let's pause for a moment. Every action, every hour dedicated to the company was decided by someone else. And I thought this was just how life was supposed to be. But I was wrong. I see the truth now. I see the puppet strings.
The biggest scam in the world, it isn't the tax system, it isn't big pharma, and it isn't the banking industry. It's wage slavery. The belief that a 9-to-5 job is life's purpose, and that you should be grateful for it. Our perception of a job can vary quite a bit. So, for example, my wife, she helps people as a social worker. She works with all kinds of people, those with deep psychological struggles, addictions, and more. It is a truly noble job, and I'm proud of her for doing it. And I could never do a job like that. And she could never do mine because she sees no meaning in it. I'm a consultant working for different companies. The point is, we should all just face it. Apart from some essential jobs in society, most jobs are just plain dumb. And people don't care about purpose because society has programmed us to be wage slaves in exchange for steady income, or at least the illusion of it. Now, some people actually like their jobs. It is rare, but it happens. Now, at first glance, we might congratulate them for having jobs that don't feel like jobs, or we might envy and even resent those who love their work. And maybe we should look for jobs that have purpose, or that we enjoy. But not so fast. There is still a big problem with jobs in general. Here is the cold truth about work. It doesn't matter if you love your job, if you hate it, or if you find meaning in it. Because in the end, we're all being used. Our time, our energy, our lives exploited for someone else's gain. And we've been conditioned to accept it without question. And here's the weird part. Like, nobody even talks about this. Everybody just walks around pretending that the system is normal, you know? Hey, we all have to work or society would collapse. Or if we didn't have jobs, we'd be bored and have no purpose. These are just wage slave lies we've been fed since birth. They're just not true. And I think that most people know it on some level. But saying it out loud makes it real. And nobody wants to face that reality, that we're all just slaves. Well, I'm not going to stay quiet about this anymore. There is something fundamentally wrong with how we work. The people who hate their jobs get labeled as lazy, while the ones who fake being busy get rewarded. This is the matrix. This is the social construct that most people don't see or don't want to see. Everybody just pretends that everything is normal. Well, I'm done lying to myself. I see the truth and it's time to say it out loud. Because we need more people who speak out about work and wage slavery. Because it's wrong. And what's worse, we raise our kids with these lies, preparing future generations to be slaves. Haters, they can call me, I don't know, the Greta Thunberg of whiners, but I don't care, because I think that it's time to flip the script. It's time to get out before it's too late. Now, some of us have already escaped. So personally, I've started my own business, and for the first time in 20 years, I actually feel hope, and I'm building my future. And I want to share my journey because I want to inspire you to do something similar. Now, obviously, every path out of wage slavery looks different. My path is through video content, but yours might be something completely different. Now, one thing I am confident in is that everyone who wants to escape can, and I think I can help you get there. I want to show you the way out in this video, but first, we need to look at the problem that's keeping you stuck. And this is important because we can't escape wage slavery unless we understand how we got there in the first place. Now, let's talk about something that's been on my mind for a long time: laziness, or at least what people call laziness. Because here's the truth: most people aren't lazy. Most people just have dumb jobs that drain the IQ out of them. It's sort of a bear trap. Think about it. We were raised to believe that hard work is the key to success. Work hard, get a good job, climb the ladder, retire happy. That's the dream we were sold. But let's be real. Who actually wins in this system? And even if you make it to retirement, what do you really have to show for it? Most jobs, they don't exist to make the world a better place. They exist to make someone else richer. That's it. But society tells you that if you question this, if you feel that your job is boring or meaningless, there's something wrong with you. But what if you're smarter than your stupid-ass job? Imagine a genius with the highest IQ ever measured getting a job as a baggage handler at the airport. Wouldn't it make sense for a genius to find it just insanely boring? Would laziness feel like a natural response of being stuck in a place that wastes their potential? Historically speaking, people worked to survive, hunting, farming, building. Then came the Industrial Revolution. Suddenly, people were herded into factories, offices, no longer working for themselves, but for some guy at the top who owned everything. And they called this progress. They called this freedom. But was it? Even long before that, people were deceived into building pyramids. Slave or not, they were convinced it was some grand purpose, but in reality, it was just to glorify the pharaohs. Sounds familiar, right? Even if historians argue that they weren't slaves, they were still wage slaves. Now, fast forward to today, and nothing has really changed. The 9-to-5 rat race wasn't designed to make us free. It was designed to make us obedient. School is actually one of the biggest traps of the wage slave system. Most parents force their kids to go. It's the right thing to do, right? After all, how else will they learn about the world? But what are they really being taught? Think about it. For over a decade, we're trained to sit still, follow orders, and accept that obedience equals reward. Grades weren't just about learning, they conditioned us to comply. So, is it any wonder that after 12 plus years of this, nobody questions wage slavery? Because we were programmed to believe that giving 40 hours of our lives every week was just the way the world works. And if you question the system, you get labeled as lazy, a loser, a bum. This is the myth of hard work. We act as if hard work itself has value, but logically speaking, it is not the most efficient way to do things. The future won't be built on mindless labor. It will be built on creativity. And someday, we'll solve problems with creativity instead of brute force. But because of this deeply ingrained worship of hard work, we're wasting generations trapped in pointless jobs doing meaningless tasks, convincing ourselves that, hey, it's all normal. But it's not. And if you feel like you're lazy or bored, maybe the problem isn't you. Maybe the problem is the system. Most of us don't work to save lives. We don't work to advance humanity. We work so some executives can buy a third yacht. That's why so many jobs feel empty. Ever sat at your desk and thought, why am I doing this? Yeah, me too. Every single day of my career. That's because most modern jobs exist to create profit, not meaning. Think about it. Marketing teams spend millions figuring out how to make us buy things that we don't even need. Tech companies fire thousands of workers to keep shareholders happy. And middle managers, half of their job is just sending emails and sitting in meetings. In 2022, a major tech company laid off 12,000 employees, then immediately announced record profits. What does that tell you? That the work was never about necessity. It was about maximizing profit. And yet, if you hate your job, you're the problem. They tell us we're lazy instead of admitting that most work is pointless. Now let's not forget automation. They told us technology would free us, that AI and robotics would take over boring tasks, giving us more time to live. But instead, automation is used to track us, monitor us, and make sure we never slow down. AI isn't here to help workers, it's here to replace them, or make them work harder for less. Now, let me be clear here. I'm not saying that work is dumb. I work hard on these videos. I work hard on building my business, and I understand that work is necessary for society to function. But that doesn't mean society should treat us like cogs in a machine. We deserve more because we belong to the human race, a species filled with passion. Now, I know, if you look around today, most people don't seem passionate. We get home, eat, and collapse on the couch every night. It's Netflix or video games. Not exactly creatures of fire and ambition. But that's only because our jobs drain us. Dumb jobs make people lazy. And this is why I keep coming back to childhood in my videos, because at some point, we all had limitless creativity. Our imagination had no boundaries. But today, ask any adult to write a poem, draw something, or perform on stage, and they'll say they're too old for that. But I don't think that's true. The great English playwright George Bernard Shaw famously said, "We don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing." Work kills our creativity. It kills our spirit. It kills our full potential. And it doesn't matter if you love your job, hate it, or find meaning in it. That is the truth. So the grind has drained me, but I won't quit. We deserve a life beyond this cycle. I'll raise my voice until they listen. I'll fight until things change. But here's my best case prediction. If we manage somehow to raise our voices together, the world will take notice, the media will talk about it, and maybe even become a popular movement. Politicians will jump on board, of course, but not because they care, but because it's useful for them. That's how it works. That's why they stand behind, climate work, the fight against racism, and other social movements. But wage slavery? I fear it won't end anytime soon. Not in our lifetime anyway. So, what do we do? Well, I think that we have three choices. Quiet quitting. This means doing the absolute minimum at work, preserving your energy for the weekends, the evenings, and the people you love. Now, some can manage this, sort of accepting reality as it is, finding fleeting moments of joy, and adopting a kind of stoic detachment. But for me, it's just not enough. I feel like I'm dying a little inside every day I spend in a system that reduces me to a cog. Some people say, just do what you love. But let's be real, it's just not that simple. This isn't a buffet where we pick whatever job we want. The system is desperate, competitive, and designed to keep us dependent. That said, it is obviously possible. And it is something that I want to explore in a future video. But finding meaningful work starts with knowing yourself. This means you need to take some personality tests, hiring a therapist, or even talking to ChatGPT every day to figure out what truly makes you happy. And you could be surprised. So, I used to believe my dream job had to be something very impressive. And the best job I ever had was as a receptionist. A job I thought was beneath me. Turns out, I love the freedom it gave me. It's kind of quiet here, and I like it. It's a good day. So sometimes, the work you enjoy the most is where you least expect it. Now, the third option is to build your own path. This is the path that I've chosen. I'm building a business around my passion, making videos. And I get it. A lot of you might be thinking, that's impossible for me. I won't even know where to start. And I used to feel the same way for about 10 years. I made excuses why it's just not the right time. But earlier this year, I finally took the leap. And for the first time in 20 years, I feel free. I feel like I'm in control of my fate. Before, all I could see was my paycheck, my one fixed source of income. But when I started to make YouTube videos and setting up passive income streams, I realized something, that every hour I put into my business has potential to grow exponentially. In a job, every hour is worth a set amount, maybe $100 if you're lucky. But in a business, 1 hour could eventually be worth thousands, even millions. That's the power of leverage. People always say, not everyone can start a business. But here's the thing. If you don't take control, someone else will. The internet has changed everything. Those who adapted early made millions. Those who ignored it got left behind. And AI is the next wave. And it won't be AI taking jobs. It will be people who use AI to work smarter. And maybe you're thinking, but I don't know what to do. That's fair, but you have to ask yourself this. Why don't you know? Because society conditioned us to think we needed a boss to tell us what we need to do. We were never encouraged to explore our passions because independent people don't make good workers. If you don't know what you love doing, start experimenting, try things, learn skills, and most importantly, stop thinking of work as something you have to do. Start thinking about what you want to do. Because if you don't build your own dream, you'll spend your life building someone else's. So, if you hate your job, and I'm guessing you do since you're still listening, maybe it's time to ask yourself a very simple question. Are you really too lazy or too dumb to start a business? Or is it just that your job is dumb and killing your potential? If you enjoy my content and want to help spread the message, consider supporting me on Patreon. It's just $5 a month, and it helps me keep this channel completely sponsor-free. I don't want my content to be a vessel for companies to make money off you. I would rather that you give your hard-earned money to me to support a good cause. Now, as a member, you'll get exclusive access to extra content like courses, digital products, and more. Plus, your name will be featured in the end credits of my videos, showing the world where you stand. Your support surely makes a difference. Join me on Patreon and be part of something bigger. We're building a community there, a sort of mastermind group that aims to escape wage slavery. As always, thank you for listening. Do me a favor and tap that like button to show your support. Subscribe if you're interested in more content like this. Until next time, stay hungry, relentless, and strong in your journey of escaping wage slavery. Bye. Oh, you're still here. Oh, that's right. It's the behind-the-scenes vlog. This segment of the video is where I share more personal things. It's mostly for my subscribers, but if you're new here, you're more than welcome to stick around. So, I've been thinking a lot about how to make a business around my content online, and I actually got this very great idea from watching another YouTuber who, incidentally, I've been accused of copying, Dan Coe. I've made a post about him and how I feel it's unfair to be accused of copying him since I made wage slave videos long before he did. You can check for yourself. But this time I actually will borrow one of his ideas. He made a video where he was plugging his book and courses, but he made it very clear that all of his content in those products was for free in his YouTube videos. The books and courses were just structured variants of his work. And it just hit me that, I could write a book or make courses about my content and still not feel like I'm tricking desperate wage slaves to my products. Because the content would be free on my YouTube channel. I can just make more structured product based on that free content for those who are interested. I did mention in my last video that I have been talking to sponsors, and I decided that I don't want to do that. Yeah, because it sort of feels like companies are just using me so that I use you to persuade you to buy their products. So with Patreon, I feel like I'm on the right path. I don't feel like I'm begging for money, as some people would say. I'm building something that I think could help people who want to escape wage slavery. And I'm also thinking about starting a web shop, and I'm sort of testing out different platforms to sell products. But to be honest, while I do hope that it becomes successful, after all, I'm building a business that can sustain me, my goal with the web shop is actually test out different web shop solutions, then make videos about that to share with my subscribers. So for those of you who want to follow in my footsteps or at least take a similar path, I could give you content about which platform to pick if you decide to start your own web shop. Now, I'm sorry, I don't know if this is oversharing. I've noticed that a lot of YouTubers are kind of secretive about their plans, but I just feel that authenticity is the thing that connects me with a lot of you. And it just feels right to be honest about my intentions here. Anyway, that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.